Humanoid robots are no longer a dream. For years, we watched robots fall on stage, move slower than your grandma, and stay locked inside research labs as expensive science projects that never actually did anything useful. But 2026 is flipping that script. This year, we have robots that move like us, think like us, and in some cases, outperform us. Figure 03 is folding laundry and picking up cracked eggs without breaking them. Tesla's Optimus V3 is learning new tasks just by watching humans do them. Boston Dynamics rebuilt Atlas from the ground up as a fully electric powerhouse. And 1X Neo? You can actually buy one this year. So let's break down every major humanoid robot pushing the boundaries right now, and why this moment changes everything. Figure AI is making rapid progress here, and it's becoming hard to ignore. The previous generation already included palm cameras and highly sensitive tactile sensors that could detect forces as light as 3 grams of pressure, which is lighter than a paperclip resting on your fingertip. The 7th generation hand builds on that foundation with much more advanced movement and control. The fingers can spread apart and come back together smoothly, while the thumb can fully rotate and reach each fingertip with precision. That ability, where the thumb connects with the fingers, is considered one of the key signs of human-level dexterity, and Figure 03 is now reaching that level. The Helix AI system plays a major role here, allowing the robot to learn and adjust its hand movements in real time, instead of relying on fixed programming. As a result, the robot can handle tasks that require a high level of care, such as folding laundry, picking up a cracked egg, or gripping fragile objects without damaging them. Figure CEO Brett Adcock has stated that the goal is to reach surgical-level dexterity by the end of 2026. At the same time, the company is scaling production through its BotQ manufacturing facility, which is targeting 12,000 units per year initially, with plans to reach 100,000 units over the next 4 years. Figure 03 is also about 9% lighter than the previous model, features soft and washable outer materials instead of rigid metal panels, and supports wireless charging by simply stepping onto a floor mat. All of this points to a clear direction. This robot is not just being designed for industrial use, but for real-world environments, including everyday life at home. But Figure is not alone. The shift toward everyday humanoid robots is already happening. If a robot can handle a cracked egg without breaking it, what job do you think humans will still have left? Comment below your thoughts. Tesla hinted its upcoming third-generation humanoid robot, Optimus V3, at AWE 2026 in Shanghai. The company is targeting a long-term production capacity of up to 1 million humanoid robots per year, matching the scale it already uses for car manufacturing. This version of Optimus is being positioned as the first model designed specifically for mass production, with major upgrades in both hardware and hand design compared to earlier versions. Production is planned to begin before the end of 2026, with initial deployments already happening inside Tesla's factories to train the system in real-world conditions. Optimus V3 has been redesigned from the ground up and can now learn new tasks by watching humans perform them using Tesla's vision-based AI system. The long-term goal goes beyond factory automation. Elon Musk has stated that Optimus is intended to become a general-purpose robot for both industrial and home use, with a projected price range between $20,000 and $30,000 once production scales. Tesla is also focusing heavily on intelligence, with Musk suggesting that future versions could eventually reach AGI-level capability.
Hi. Can you do this? I love you. You know how to do that? Okay. Can you go like this, like blow a kiss? Yeah. Hand to the face. Like, yeah.
At the same time, the rollout has faced challenges, including early limitations in autonomy and leadership changes within the robotics team. Even so, Tesla is committing major resources to this direction, including plans to free up manufacturing space for production. The strategy is clear: improve through real-world use and scale production over time. While Tesla is scaling up, another company is already delivering real-world results. Boston Dynamics has been working on real-world robotics for years, and the latest version of Atlas shows how far that progress has come. The company unveiled the production-ready version of Atlas at CES 2026, and this version is now fully electric, moving away from the hydraulic systems used in earlier models. Without heavy oil-powered components, the new Atlas is quieter, more efficient, and better suited for continuous industrial use. The robot features 56 degrees of freedom, a reach of about 7.5 feet, and the ability to lift up to 110 pounds, allowing it to handle demanding physical tasks. It is also designed to operate across a wide range of conditions, making it suitable for different industrial environments. One of the most important upgrades is how the system manages its own power. When the battery runs low, Atlas can move to a charging station, replace its own battery, and return to work without human involvement. This reduces downtime and allows for more continuous operation. Alongside hardware improvements, Boston Dynamics has introduced a major step forward in intelligence through its partnership with Google DeepMind. Atlas is being integrated with a Gemini-based system, enabling it to understand its surroundings and respond without step-by-step programming. Hyundai Motor Group is supporting this effort with a new facility designed to produce up to 30,000 Atlas robots per year, with initial deployments planned for 2028. But while Atlas is focused on industrial environments, another robot is being built specifically for everyday life inside the home. 1X Technologies has taken a different approach by focusing directly on the home environment, and its humanoid robot Neo is designed specifically for that purpose. Neo stands around 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs about 66 pounds, and is built to handle everyday physical tasks with a balance of strength and precision. The robot can lift up to 154 pounds, while its hands, with 22 degrees of freedom each, allow it to perform fine and controlled movements. Despite this capability, Neo operates at around 22 decibels, making it quiet enough for continuous use inside a home. It can carry items across rooms, fold laundry, and interact with people through natural conversations, positioning it as more than just a basic tool. Which future feels closer? Atlas replacing workers or Neo becoming part of your home? Tell me below. The most significant upgrade comes from its AI system. With the introduction of the 1X World model, Neo can learn new tasks simply by watching videos, including real-world footage beyond traditional robot training data. Instead of relying only on pre-programmed instructions, the system observes how a task is performed and translates that understanding into physical action. This allows Neo to perform tasks it has never been directly trained on, such as opening sliding doors, adjusting objects, brushing hair, or ironing clothes. The robot builds an internal understanding of what needs to happen and then executes it through precise movement. Neo is currently available through an early access program priced at $20,000 or $499 per month, with shipments expected to begin in 2026. But the direction of humanoid robots isn't the same for everyone. Xpeng has also stepped into humanoid robotics with Iron, and the focus here is on making movement look and feel as natural as possible. At the launch, the company even opened part of the robot's outer structure on stage to show that everything was fully mechanical, highlighting how realistic the motion had become. Xpeng, known for its electric vehicles, built Iron with artificial muscles, a flexible spine, and 62 active joints, giving it a level of fluidity that is closer to human movement than traditional robots. Each hand includes 22 degrees of freedom, allowing it to handle both delicate and controlled tasks with precision. If Neo can learn anything from the internet, does that make it more powerful than Iron's advanced body design? Share your thoughts below. Iron stands about 5 feet 10 inches tall and can move at speeds of up to 2 meters per second, making it stable and responsive in real-world environments. It is powered by 3 Turing AI chips, delivering around 2,250 trillion operations per second, which supports fast decision-making and real-time interaction. The robot also uses a 720-degree vision system adapted from Xpeng's self-driving technology, allowing it to maintain full awareness of its surroundings. It runs on an all-solid-state battery, which improves safety by reducing overheating risks seen in traditional lithium-ion systems. Iron is priced at around $150,000 and is initially being introduced in commercial environments starting in 2026. At the same time, Xpeng is already working toward a more affordable version, showing clear plans to scale beyond industrial use. This isn't 5 different robots, It's one clear shift happening in real time. Humanoids are no longer limited to controlled demos or lab experiments. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. Alright, so a Unitree G1 humanoid robot just stepped onto an actual tennis court, picked up a real racket, and started playing tennis against real human players. Full speed, full court tennis, with balls flying in at over 15 meters per second. And Unitree G1 isn't just swinging and hoping for the best. It's sprinting across the court, doing forehand and backhand shots, shuffling sideways to position itself, and sustaining multi-shot rallies. In real-world testing, it hit a 90.9% success rate on forehand returns. Backhand, 77% against actual human players. So a 4-foot-tall, $16,000 humanoid robot is returning tennis shots that most casual human players would struggle with. This is latent, and this might be the most impressive humanoid sports demo we've ever seen. Let's break it down. So first, who built this? Latent comes from a collaboration between Tsinghua University, Peking University, and a Chinese robotics company called Galbut Now. Before we get into how they did it, let's talk about why this is such a big deal. Tennis is arguably one of the hardest things you could ask a robot to do. Think about what's happening in a single rally. The ball is flying at you at 15 to 30 meters per second. That gives you less than a second to figure out where it's going. Move your entire body to the right position and swing the racket at exactly the right angle, speed, and timing to return it. And you don't just have to hit the ball, you have to hit it to a specific target location on the other side of the court. Then you have to recover your balance and get ready for the next shot. For a human, that takes years of training. For a robot, it takes something no one has really cracked before: athletic full-body coordination at insane speed. Table tennis was the previous benchmark. UC Berkeley's Hitter project had a Unitree G1 playing ping pong and rallying 106 shots in a row. That was impressive. But table tennis is a small table with short distances. Real tennis? You're dealing with a full-size court, much higher ball speeds, and way more ground to cover. It's a completely different level of challenge. Hey guys, if you're into AI and humanoid robotics, this is the channel. Every day, we break down the biggest breakthroughs so you actually understand what's happening, not just the headlines. Subscribe to the AI Nexus so you don't miss what's coming next. All right, let's get back to it. So here's where it gets really clever. The biggest problem with teaching a robot to play tennis has always been data. Normally, you'd need perfect motion capture recordings of professional tennis players, every single movement captured with insane precision across a full-size court. That's extremely expensive, extremely difficult, and honestly kind of impractical. The Latent team said forget all that. Instead of collecting perfect data, they invited 5 amateur tennis players into a small motion capture studio. We're talking a space that's just 3 meters by 5 meters, which is over 17 times smaller than an actual tennis court. And they had these players just demonstrate basic tennis skills: forehand swings, backhand swings, lateral shuffles, crossover steps. Just fragments, not full matches, not perfect technique, just rough building blocks of how humans move when playing tennis. 5 hours of data. That's it. Now here's the key insight. They knew this data was imperfect. The wrist movements during swings were inaccurate, and there was no information about how to actually use these skills in a real tennis match. But their bet was that even messy, incomplete data still contains useful information about how humans naturally move. And they were right. They built a system that takes those rough motion fragments, learns the core movement patterns, and then trains a high-level AI policy that figures out how to correct and combine those basic skills to actually play tennis. So the AI learned the building blocks from humans and then taught itself how to put them together for the actual game. The whole thing was trained in simulation first, on 8 GPUs running thousands of virtual matches. They simulated the physics at 2,000 times per second to accurately model ball racket contact. Then they transferred everything to the real robot using randomization techniques, basically training the AI to handle unpredictable real-world conditions like different ball bounces, air drag, and slight hardware differences. And one really important detail: the robot doesn't use any onboard cameras or vision models. All ball tracking comes from an external motion capture system, so it's getting extremely precise, low-latency position data fed to it from outside. That's a limitation, sure, but it also means the athletic performance you're seeing is genuine. The robot is actually doing the movement, the coordination, the timing. It's just getting help with the eyes. The numbers speak for themselves. In simulation, the robot achieved a 96.5% forehand success rate and 82% for backhand. In the real world, where everything is messier and harder, it still hit 90.9% on forehand and 77.8% on backhand. It handled balls coming from different court positions, adjusted between forecourt and backcourt plays, and sustained multi-shot rallies with real human opponents. They even ran robot versus robot matches in simulation. two G1 robots on opposite sides of the court playing each other, and they sustained up to 25 consecutive rallies. That's not a demo, that's a match. Now, I want to put this in perspective, because if you've been following humanoid sports for a while, you'll remember the Phibot C1 playing badminton. That was one of the first times we saw a real humanoid robot. Not a quadruped, not a robot arm, but a bipedal humanoid actually attempt a racket sport in the real world. And look, it was a milestone. It showed that a humanoid could swing a racket and make contact with a shuttlecock. But if you go back and watch that footage, and then watch what the Unitree G1 is doing with Layton, the difference is night and day. The Phibot was stiff, the movements were mechanical, it could return machine-served shuttlecocks, but the footwork was limited and the overall motion didn't look natural at all. The robot was doing the task, but it didn't look like it was playing a sport. That progression, from Phibot awkwardly returning shuttlecocks to the G1 fluidly rallying in real tennis, happened in basically a year. Think about that for a second. A year. And this is where I want to zoom out a little. Because this isn't happening in isolation. Robots are becoming genuinely athletic. And it's happening faster than anyone expected. We've got humanoid robots playing table tennis, badminton, soccer, and now full-court tennis. Unitree's G1 has been doing kickboxing on Chinese national television. There's an actual MMA-style robot tournament that aired this year. Boston Dynamics robots have been doing parkour for a while, and now you've got multiple teams from different countries racing to make their robots more agile, more coordinated, and more capable in physically demanding tasks. It honestly feels like we're heading toward a robot Olympics, and I don't mean that as a joke. I think within the next few years, we're going to see organized competitions where humanoid robots from different companies compete in athletic events. Tennis, soccer, boxing, obstacle courses. The technology is clearly getting there. And that raises a fun question. If we set up a tennis match between a Unitree G1 and a Tesla Optimus, who do you think wins? One's a compact 4-foot-tall athletic machine that's already returning shots at over 15 meters per second. The other is a full-size humanoid backed by one of the richest companies on the planet. Drop your pick in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you guys think. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this.